Back in studio, Tara Richter, Richter Publishing. Welcome back in, ma'am.
Thanks. Excited to be here. Today, we're going to talk about how to become a #1 Amazon bestseller.
Love it. Love it. A good way to leverage the opportunity to write your own book and sit down with Tara and her team and put together your thoughts on paper. Have you ever thought about writing a book? Well, hey, this show's for you. We're going to tell you a little bit more detail on how easy you can do that and how you can make it. Let's talk a little bit about how to become a #1 best-selling author, Amazon best-selling author with Tara Richter. Welcome back in.
Thanks for having me. So yeah, a lot of people want to write and publish a book, but it's awesome to have your book become a bestseller and a #1 bestseller at that. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the two differences because some people don't understand the difference between an Amazon bestseller and a New York Times bestseller. So basically, to become a New York Times bestseller, first you have to have your books in the bookstore. And then you have to have mass amount of people going to the bookstore to buy the books. And they have to buy the books, like more quantities of the book than any other author at a certain given point in time, So that is a little bit easier for people to achieve if they're famous. Because, obviously, like the one thing about having the books in the bookstore is that nobody's going to go and buy your book if they don't know that it's there, if they don't know who you are. Because, for one thing, the bookstores are going out of business. And the ones that are there, there's thousands of books in the bookstore.
Yeah.
So how's your little book going to stand out being filed away, in a nonfiction real estate area? So so if you're famous, like say you're Rachel Ray and you release a book and just talking about it on her cooking show, people are going to run and buy the book. So that's really how you become a New York Times bestseller. Now, on the other end of it with Amazon, being like the next big marketplace for books, it's all online.
Right.
So it's a little bit easier to achieve because it's really just an algorithm. It's the same as a New York Times bestseller that you do have to outsell any other book, but in your listed category at any given point in time. So if you go to Amazon and you look, across the top of the tabs, on the book section, there's bestsellers. And then if you tab down on the left-hand side, there's probably about maybe like 80 categories.
Wow.
There's a lot when you kind of drill down. So one of the things that we do for authors, if they so choose to do the bestseller campaign that we have available to make them a bestseller, is that when I'm listing the book, I'm looking at the category when we publish to see who else is in that category and if we can outsell them. Mm-hmm. So there's a science behind it. But then basically it's kind of like I tell people it's like going to Vegas with a plan. I know the algorithm, I know how it works, but yet it's never a guarantee because you can only see the top 100 books that are the bestsellers in that category. So, if you don't want to go into a category that you're going to compete against like Steve Jobs,
right.
memoir, like you're just not going to outsell Steve Jobs. So that's kind of the thing that we do when we're looking to publish the book is, based on the content and what the book is about, I'll look at the different categories and see who else is in there. If it's a bunch of nobodies, that's the top 100, then we can probably outsell them. But so, with my one author, Karen Mertez with Plaintiff 101, mm-hmm. And we have 9 bestsellers, but this was the only book that we got to become #1. And since her book is about a 4-year litigation process, we had it in the law category. And funny enough, I didn't even really look and see that John Grisham was in the category. Even though his is fiction and this is not fiction, it's still in the same, law type category because he writes, fiction stories about law. So when we released the Amazon bestseller campaign on September 15th, and the other funny thing is like once you publish the book and you release it, Amazon does not tell when you hit at all. They don't send you an email. They're not like, hey, guess what? You hit #1 or even just Amazon at all. So we, do this huge marketing campaign. We do Facebook ads. We do email blasts. We do like this huge campaign to push it out. And then it's a waiting game. You literally sit and you have to refresh the freaking category like every hour.
See if your book's getting up there. Just like,
yes.
come on. It grew.
Yeah, and then you got to flip through all the pages to see if you hit. Because even if you hit 99, you're still a bestseller. And then you can use that and, for marketing and everything after the fact. So you have to, and they update every hour. So what we did is, and of course, the day that we release this, I have a speaking engagement in Miami. So we released it in the morning. And then I pack up, I'm driving down. I'm literally like stopping at like every freaking McDonald's to get Wi-Fi. Because like I also can't see it on my phone. Like you have to have a laptop. You have to like see it on the desktop. But I'm refreshing. It's not there. And then, I get to Miami. I get my hotel room. I'm like getting dinner. By this time, the author calls me. It had been like 10 hours. And she's like, it didn't hit. She's like, oh my God, it didn't hit. And I'm like, I'm freaking out. I'm like, no, just wait. I'm like, have faith. And then finally, 11 o'clock in my hotel room, I hit the refresh button and boom, she was number 1.
Wow.
And we pushed John Grisham down to number 3.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was amazing. So that's the thing. Nobody tells you when you hit. They just refresh their stats, and then they don't tell you